welcome to HeartTalk. So why we decided on this topic, HeartTalk, was because both of us, well, at least I do like, and I know Marion does like, this person called Stephen Sacker from BBC. So Stephen Sacker is a no-holds-barred, in-your-face. Yeah, he's just very straightforward with his talks. And I like that he talks about all kinds of issues on BBC, whether it's economic, whether it's social, whether it's political. But those are matters of the world. And ours is called Heart Talk, right? So a little play on words. And that's right, but it's getting your heart to talk now. And because we do the kind of work like emotional intelligence, I think that's our main core.
Yeah.
And it's really talking about the core of the work that we do. And today we are talking about one big area, which I think a lot of us, when I say I'm making an assumption here, a lot of Singaporeans don't seem to talk about much, maybe because our pursuits, our aims, our directions are quite different. So let me just say a little bit more about Heart Talk, because this is the first session. We'll do a little bit of a prelude on why we're doing this. Well, we find that, before COVID especially, we'll be training every other day or sometimes 3 times a week. And we meet all kinds of people, whether it's leaders, whether it's non-leaders. And we found especially this aspect on purpose was either missing or not placed as important as what we think it should be. I don't know about for you, Marion, so I'm going to ask you that question soon. But I remembered when I was growing up, at least when I was, okay, I'm now only 40 years old, but anyway, when I was growing up in school, can give me some discounts for today. So in school, I don't remember any teacher, and I'm of course not discounting our system, but yeah, maybe I am slightly. I don't remember any teacher talking about purpose. I don't remember it happening in primary school. I don't remember happening in secondary school, which is totally okay, because I didn't expect that they would get us to think about purpose. But it never happened in college either. So I'm just wondering, for you, let's get on into the topic now. For you, maybe our viewers may not...
Shall we just share why we also decided to actually work on this topic?
Yeah.
I mean, remember when we first started to create our EQ competency framework, when we wanted to come up with a model, it was so important for us to think about, like, what could we do that would be different? And really, we wanted something that worked from inside out, because a lot of our training programs previously had been from outside in, right? And I think purpose was something really important to start with. And I think we did a really good job in doing that, to start off with purpose, because you're very right. Many times we did see a lot of leaders that when their purpose score was low, everything else in terms of their EQ scores tended to also be affected and slightly lower. Yeah?
Right. Yeah. So we found, I must admit, leaders, I think their purpose was either high or high average. But I think, we meet a whole lot of either middle managers and frontline people.
A lot of frontline for myself, exactly. Yeah. And their ppurpose score tended to be a little bit low. Yeah.
And so today we're here to talk about what does that translate into your life when purpose is low. So let's talk about, let's put the spotlight now. And because I can see a nice spotlight on you, it's like you've got some pretty good lights over there. Right. I can see from the reflection, you've got pretty good lights. Mine's coming from on top, but yours is right at your face. Wonderful. So I'm not sure whether our viewers know that, yes, you were Miss Singapore University in 1987, right? When I was only 12 years old. Right.
Oh, Granville. What can I say? You're rather delusional today.
That's right. I can see my hair is just slightly tinted, that's all. So when I was 12 years old, you became Miss Singapore University 1987, right? And I don't know, at that point, we're not here to talk about that, but I'm just wondering, that's an interesting thing that you got in there, you won Miss Singapore, then you got to Miss Universe. Did you think that your purpose from then on was going to be, okay, man, I'm a fashionista, I'm into all this modeling stuff, to this high society, so my purpose is going to be pretty interesting, and that's the direction I'm going to take. So did you find your purpose early in your life?
Well, I don't think that the Miss Singapore or the Miss Universe was a purpose for me. I really joined that competition out of a dare. But in terms of knowing what I wanted from my life, I would say I had my dreams, I had my goals. And I grew up in a family where it was pretty clear for all of us that doing things for other people was always going to be very important. My parents were volunteers in church. They worked out in the old folks' homes. They did things for orphanages. So we used to follow them all the time, right? Yeah. So I think from young, it was already instilled in our family as part of our values that we always had to give back to society. So yeah, to a certain extent, I felt like I knew that I wanted to do something, right? But the Miss Singapore and all that, that was more like, oh, okay, you know, distractions along the way and in my life. Yeah.
That's a pretty interesting distraction you had at the age of 19, right?
19, 19.
Some other very big distractions, but definitely not that one.
Okay,
You get
yeah,
it?
but you know, but you know, Grant, I think like for so many of us living in a fast-paced society like Singapore or any other part of the world, you know, we kind of like, we're always working for the next better thing to come along, right? So, you know, we get our degree, we get our education so that we can get a job. When the job comes, you know, you're looking at maybe wanting to get married, maybe wanting to have children, have the house, you know, so we kind of always focusing on all the material things. And along the way, I would say for myself, my purpose got a little bit fuzzy. You know, I was really working on autopilot at some point, just achieving and doing something different and going for the experience and really just enjoying my life, etc. So I feel like at some point in my life, I lost that mojo. I mean, I definitely was doing volunteer work. I was enjoying the work that I was doing. I was enjoying my play and my partying and everything else. But it felt like there was really no meaning to my life, you know. I was just going through the motion, going through the whole process of what I thought was success or what I thought was what I was meant to do. So, I mean, you know, when you met me like 10 years ago, right, I was really on a low cycle and I was losing energy. I was falling sick all the time and I was losing my passion for life. So I got lost along the way, you know, in my want to achieve and to get all the different experiences with my life. Yeah.
So would you say that for a long time I know this is quite a bold thing to say, but for a long time in your life, you did not have much of a purpose or you got lost?
I was lost. I did not have much of a purpose. I knew what I needed to do, right? So I still did all my volunteer work, but it felt meaningless, right? Why was I doing it? I didn't know whether it was out of obligation or whether it was just something that was my pattern, you know, so I'm just doing it because I've always done it, right? So I do feel like I lost my mojo. It was there within me. I just couldn't find it. Yeah. What about for yourself?
You know, for me, I can tell you, since I'm 40, so let me go back 20 years. I probably found my purpose, 2000. I think the year 2000 was when it started. But otherwise, before that, totally purposeless, right? So, I mean, when I graduated, I'm not one of those where I did law, I did not do law. I did not do medicine. I did not do engineering. So I did not do one of those things where there's a clear path. You know, you do law, you become a lawyer. You do medicine, you become a doctor. There's no clear path, mainly because I was playing in school. So whatever I could do, I just did, right? I coasted along. And then I jumped into commerce and communications, one of those bummer subjects initially, right? And then you land up somewhere, right? And then, of course, when you graduate, you say, what do I do? So frankly, I did not know what to do. I jumped into something, no meaning. But I think I was very fortunate if this person is listening in. So thank you very much, Lita. She pushed me into training. And so when she said this, so Grant, you know, since you're talking with everyone, of course there were females all around the office, so that was even more exciting. Yeah, since you're talking to everyone, I'm going to make you a trainer. So I said, train what and train whom? So she said, don't worry, you just give a 1 hour talk. So I said, about what? She says, to convince the women that men belong in this industry. So she's listening in. Actually, I did not even believe in that, but I had to do a talk on that. But that's where it got started, you know. And yet, I still did not feel I was training the same thing, the thing that I really loved until later, right? So it came when I was 30. So talk about late, I don't know. It's good to find out from the rest, maybe on Facebook when you check out some others. Have they found purpose? Because mine came at 30. I'm 40 now, so it's been 10 years.
Again, I don't think it really matters at what age you're at, right? I think it's really that journey of self-discovery, and everybody's got a different path to grow. Everybody's got a different path to find. But it's kind of interesting, like when you talk about, you know, being offered a job to do teaching or to do training, you know, that must have been, was that ever on your mind? I mean, at any point of your life, did you ever see yourself like, oh my goodness, I could be, right? Okay, you see, like in my case, I love talking and I know that, right? And, you know, I was in debate, I was I was in debate. I was in speech competitions. I've been acting on stage, even back in school days, right? So talking for me was always something that was very easy, connecting with people, teaching. I mean, even when I got punished, I'd be teaching teddy bears and all my toys and all that, right? So talking and teaching was something that, well, maybe because my parents also were teachers, but my parents said to me, you can be anything in this world, but don't be a teacher. Right, because they said it's so now a glorified teacher, right? Yeah, so I knew I mean, to a certain extent, I knew what I wanted, but as I said, I got caught up in life. Yeah.
So good. I mean, so you believe you have found your purpose?
Well, definitely now. I mean, it's even though I'm doing something similar to what I did in the past, it's just the topics are different, and really it's about making a difference, not just externally, but really helping people transform from within themselves, So I do find that even if I am physically exhausted, my energy is still there. It's a little bit hard to explain, but the passion or something is still burning within me that feels good. So I have this constant, deeper joy compared to in the past where I was just achieve, and I was happy. But there was challenges and I didn't know how to get out of it, right? So it's hard to explain, but it was something that's going on deep within me. Yeah, which I'm sure you can relate to that too, right?
I guess that also comes from the title of our topic, right? So purpose and passion. What wakes you up besides the alarm clock? So I don't know about you. I mean, of course, in the last 10 years, especially, okay, I mean, the truth is I've been training for 25 years. So I started training at 15.
Finally!
But 15, still 40, right? So, so the thing is, I never felt that for probably the first 10 years, right? Mm-hmm. And then a wave just hit. And it's funny, okay, it helps that I have got a certain status that I wake up and boom, I start my work and I don't sleep till 1 a.m. And some people say, Gran, you're a workaholic, but seriously, I think it's the same for you. I really don't consider it work at all. It is my life. Mm. So I don't expect everyone to have, if people are thinking, okay, purpose means it should occupy every hour of your life. No, but some people just do.
So I guess it's like something we have to really talk about in terms of like, there must be certain maybe criteria of what purpose is all about. I mean, we have a lot of people who tell us, what's the difference between that and a goal? I mean, you can have many goals, and I had many goals, and I think a lot of people have all their goals, but it's different from purpose. So for me, one of the basic things is, purpose has to be an overarching theme that covers all the different aspects of your life. Like if it's a goal, you can have a family goal, you can have a work goal, you can have a friend's goal, but a purpose should be something that overarches everything, and it's not always something that you can always see immediate results. Like in a goal, you could see the results, but purpose can be slightly different. What do you think? I mean, in terms of criteria?
Well, I've got a few. Of course, I mean, both of us have written about this and we talked about at least 5 or 6.
Sorry. Yeah.
One of the biggest ones for me is it has to involve someone else and make a difference, right? So if this purpose is just about you and your life and improving your life, and I just don't feel that's purposeful enough, because it's very
that feels more like a goal, right?
Yeah, exactly. And we can have all kinds of goals, right? So I think a purpose has to involve other people. And I think the big one for me is noticing the difference you make in others, which then makes it purposeful. Because if it's meant to just improve yourself, you can do that anytime. But if it's going to witness other people improve as a result of your doing, then that's meaningful for me, right? And meaning equals purpose equals meaning as well.
And I totally agree with that. I mean, when you live that purpose, it affects so many people in your life, and they can come on board like a ripple effect, right? So you throw the stone in the water and it ripples out into everybody else, and everybody else we can empower them to do the same. So it can be really something simple. So like for me, I have a very simple like mission statement, maybe I'll share with you later, or we can share with the team later. But, in terms of criteria, for me, when I look at it, yes, make a difference for a lot of, for everyone in your life, involve other people. So it's more like it's a little bit bigger than a goal, because it's like my lifelong mission.
Yeah.
That whatever I do, I need to be living this, not just achieving it and it's done. You know? Yeah. Yeah.
So before we carry on, I think we also better ask our viewers, okay, and just check out if anyone has asked anything. And the question we have for them is, have you found your purpose? And how do you know? Right? Because why I ask how do you know? Because some people may be confused between a purpose, a goal, and a passion. How do these three come into being? And are they related? Do they disconnect? So if anyone is saying anything, just let us know. Have you found your purpose and how do you know? And tell us a bit more about that purpose. Okay. Is there any other criteria for you, or like talk about, has it to be done within your lifetime or?
Yeah, I think for me, because again, I am a little bit results oriented, so I want to be able to see the outcome.
Yeah.
And again, as I said, I have a very simple statement, and I need to be able to feel like there's a ripple effect. And why I want to be able to so-called see the results is so that it keeps me in check. If I just have a vision for what I think should be right and I don't see how it affects other people, if I look at the way I've lived my life and when I even set goals, when I have a drive, when I want to get something done, I will bulldoze my ways through and I'm not going to listen to other people. So why I want to see results, don't roll your eyes at me. We've only worked together for 10 years. Right. Yes. Okay. So PS audience, if you wonder why Grant's hair has turned gray, check it out. It's me. It's my fault. I'll take responsibility.
It's still in place, but let's not go behind, right? I think it's still quite all right.
Okay. Stop it. There's a mirror behind you. You do know that, right?
Okay. Then you. All right. Yeah.
Okay. Now you see, I've lost what I was saying. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, as I was saying, it keeps me in check. Why I want to be able to see results and how it affects other people. It keeps me in check. It makes me feel like, okay, what I'm doing is. Well, I wouldn't say it's the right thing, but yeah, it kind of feels right. It feels good. Of course, I'm not driven by the recognition or by the appreciation, but just to be able to see others be able to do something similar. So that feel of I've empowered somebody else to do something similar. It just gives me joy. It really gives me joy.
Right.
What about for you?
Yeah, I think for me it differs slightly. When I say slightly, yes, I definitely do want to see the results, and I obviously want to see good results, but I think it can go beyond my lifetime, and that means it doesn't have to stop when I die. And so talk about leaving a legacy. I don't need to leave a legacy. It's almost like Lee Kuan Yew, right? Yeah, he's left a legacy without wanting that kind of recognition, right? So yeah, same thing. If the work can carry on, I see that as a wonderful purpose that goes beyond my life. And that of transformation and change and shifts. And for me, it's definitely about noticeable transformation with whoever I meet who is in trouble, because I like to meet troubled people, right?
Yes, Mr. Fix It. Yeah.
Try to fix it, fine.
Yeah, but it's a good mission to have. It's most important, it makes you feel like there's, like, as I said, it needed to add meaning to my life. I felt like I needed to have a more meaningful life. And, of course, it's got to do with also religion and the way we've been brought up, right? And so this thing of needing to do good for others, needing to bring peace and harmony and love and happiness and every other gift that we've been given, we just want to spread that joy, right? And so I think that for me, I still would like to be able to see results. I mean, it's interesting that you talk about legacy because, when I think about it, it just seemed, it was like, I could not see so big a picture, like having a foundation or having to me, it kind of frightened me. And so I think, again, we also want to share with people that your purpose doesn't have to be, you don't have to change the world, right? It's just small steps. I think it's lovely that you have this idea of this legacy, and I would love to do that, but it frightened me at one point because I didn't think I had the energy. I didn't think I had the capability. Yeah. So there was a lot of self-doubt. I went through a lot of craziness too. Yeah.
When I wrote my second book, Unshakable Spirit, and a lot of it was about purpose. And many people say, wow, there's so many big stars there. You got Nelson Mandela, you got Bill Gates, you got Steve Jobs, you got Aung San Suu Kyi, tons of people, right? Oprah Winfrey and all that. And so people could not quite connect with this whole thing about purpose because they were saying, well, only big people got purpose, right? Yeah. And then one day I did a workshop, and then this person helped redefine it for me, I would say, right? And she said, Gran, for me, so she was an accountant, I believe, either an accountant or, yeah, I think she was an accountant. She says, in my life, I do everything with full integrity for the people whom I have contact with. And that happens in my home, with my kids, with my colleagues, with my bosses. And as long as I'm upright and straight, I just feel that I'm living my purpose itself. And I thought to myself, why not? Right? Why not?
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's really wow. And so that's why I shared with you in the beginning that I have a very simple mission statement. It's just I want to be a source of happiness and love to everyone I meet in my life. So again, whether it's at home, whether it's with my family members, or the extended family, whether it's with my friends, my church community, my Rotary Club, the EQ community, the Enneagram community, because I know that I can bring laughter to people's lives. And I think sometimes we need that positivity. All right. At the same time, the love. And maybe I'm not the best listener, or maybe I'm not the best person to be able to show a lot of love, but in whichever way I know how, I want to do my best to, and there's no agenda, it's just this intention of, I want people to feel love from me, and I think that to me, as simple as it is, it's powerful enough for me. Yeah.
Right. So I'm going to ask a strange question. Of course, we hardly spoke about this topic before we got online anyway. So some of these questions keep popping out in my head, but I'm just wondering whether we can address this. Can we have 2 statements of purpose? Because I'm having some thoughts down here where, one, I certainly love networking and talking and the entertainment part. And I don't mean entertaining big groups of people, but this connection and exchange and thoughts and, that kind of stuff. At the same time, I love transformation, and then I look at other people, they say, Gran, I love transformation. At the same time, I also love my baking. And they find, is that a clash? Can I have 2 kinds of purpose? And in my mind, I'm thinking, no, I think we've very much been restricted to this purpose statement. And because we have one statement, everything must come underneath and fit that statement, which I don't agree at all.
Yeah. I don't think that you should limit yourself in that way, and it's really up to you how you want to interpret your own statement. For me, when I wrote that statement for myself, it was really very open in terms of, even if I'm with my, animals, I do work with animal shelters and all that, and fundraising, and I can still bring happiness and joy there. Why not? Or even if I'm in a difficult situation, so or even bringing happiness and joy to myself. So I don't really see that. Why not have 2 different statements? I think at the end of the day, it should be open to your interpretation. And I think all you want to make sure that you do is not to confuse yourself or overwhelm yourself, because I find so many people, like if I look at in some of the volunteer work that I do, Gran, a lot of people have lots of purpose. They want to do this, they want to do that. So they set so many things for themselves to carry and hold that they forget to fill up their own cup, and they're running on empty. And you can see that they are passionate, they love it, but they're falling sick, they're not looking after themselves. And I went through that. So I also want to support them and say, hey, you don't have to save the world. Baby steps, Yeah.
Exactly. Right. So I'm not sure. You can check out whether there's anyone asking a question, because I think we should move to one important one.
So far, not yet.
Okay. Why? Either they're wondering, what the hell are these people talking about?
Maybe. Okay, find a translation. Say it in Malay. What is purpose in Malay?
Who, me?
Yeah, do you know? I don't know. Don't ask me for it in Chinese. I have no clue.
Ross, are you listening? If you are, please. By the way, it's Malay stuff as well, so don't even ask.
No, I'm joking. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, they can Google the word purpose.
They can, that's right. Looking at this whole thing about purpose, again, back to our classes, I don't know the percentage of people whom you've met who were purposeless. Just give an estimate. Like, for example, and of course our profile does measure purpose, right? And I don't know about you, but let's just get your estimate about roughly how many people whom you've met in class were, based on the scores, quite purposeless, or like no clue what the hell this purpose is all about.
Okay, so again, for me, let's just look at, we've got also quite different levels that we train. And because, I love training in the university, so I'm dealing with a younger group of people, as well as I do a lot of frontliners because I definitely see that there's a big need for help, as well as executives. And of course, we do leaders. But this is a bit of a generalization, but I do find that when they're younger, their purpose may not be so clear. And it's not like they don't want to make a difference in their world. I think there's this pressure from society for them to just achieve, get the job, get the house, get married, have children. So it's hard to be giving at that point, if it's about making a difference. But if I look at those in the workforce, personally, it's a pretty high number, Gran. It's quite sad. And when I ask them, a lot of them do just say to me that I don't know, I have no clue. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I just know that I have to look after my family so it's really about working in their job. Yeah. What have you noticed? Is it the same?
Wow. I've got some interesting participants who gave me some very interesting insights, but I would give the rating is 30% who are leaders. I must admit, I get like 70 or 80%,
Yeah.
But non-leaders, when I say non-leaders, I mean middle management and
executives, exactly, yeah.
Probably about 30 to 40%, who are having above average, above average. High purpose, you get maybe about 40% of leaders.
Yeah.
But otherwise, generally in Singapore, and I'm saying Singapore, but of course, many people are tuned in from the rest of the world as well. Definitely there's a deficit. People don't get this thing. And I'm trying to track where and why. And I don't want to blame any source. But we can go back to school. We can go back about the purposes of this country. Why money is so important, getting a house, your home, and the 5 C's. Define
the 5 C's, right? I mean, we've grown up with that, our parents or our education system. It's like, be the best and you need to achieve. So the 5 C's became priority. It's and I was caught in that. I got myself caught up in that for a long time.
So I'd like to talk about this and what happens if someone does not have purpose, just in case you think it's just a term, it's just one of those things you either get or you don't, or if it does happen to you, then great. What happens if someone does not have purpose?
Oops, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Okay, I'm trying to read the comments, but I don't know how to mute it. Okay, there we go. Now I see 13 comments, but
right.
Okay.
Well, I'm hearing my twin brothers speak, but anyway.
Okay. Yes.
Voice. But anyway, just carry on reading the comments. So you don't have to listen to me at this point. It's fine. I can speak to myself. Or whoever. No, I'll speak.
Don't give me permission like that, Granville. You are going to be in so much trouble for that. I'll just take over and talk.
Yeah. So anyway, this is what it feels like when you don't have purpose, right? It almost feels like a midlife crisis. And if you've never had a midlife crisis, sometimes people think it comes with age. And in a way, sort of. I think sometimes people get it at 40, sometimes people get it at 45. I had mine at 44, right? So, and it felt empty. It felt like I did not want to wake up. Okay, well, I would want to wake up, but what I choose to do after I wake up. Did not want to go to train, just want to stay at home. And it's funny that maybe 5 months or 3 months before that, I was totally good. It just hit me like a brick on the head. And suddenly I felt like, where did this come from? And is this the end of the road? And then I realized I needed to repurpose my purpose, right? And but before I go there, did you ever have this kind of feeling where you felt, have I lost my purpose again? Am I feeling like this is just not good enough? It's not giving me meaning. With regard to love.
Yeah, I think when I refound it, like, 10 years ago, no, I've never questioned that. I feel like the last 10 years has been, maybe turning 40 was a real turning point for me also. And then since then, I think it's also for me, the fact that I've been able to work on the mindset and change the mindset of just focusing on the positives and being grateful for all the blessings in my life. Yeah. Okay, Grant, just hang on for a while. So let's just go back to the 2 purposes. So Mark Wilson, hey Mark, how are you in the US? Thanks for tuning in. Now, going into the 2 purposes, interesting thought, but I don't believe so. Purpose is the theme of your life, which is also something I was talking about. But there are many different ways to live your life in to live into your purpose. And those things are all passion or fuel that keeps you going. And that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just go back to the two purposes. So,
Okay, so
hey, now I hear my voice.
yeah, that's right. I think I better shut up. So hi, Todd.
Okay.
Nanda, my good buddy, my cocktail buddy. Of course, I see Ross and
Okay.
Jensen. I see Pat E. Nice to see you
Yes.
from Malaysia.
Our wonderful EQ community. Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, like for me, I just needed simplicity because
My
I think
brother, of course,
life,
Ilhan.
yeah, I feel that life sometimes can be too complicated. You know, we pile all these things on ourselves. So that's why for me, I just had to have a mission statement that was short and sweet, simple, but doable. Okay, not easy to do all the time because it's not easy to be happy and positive and loving all the time, but something that I can strive to be the best version of myself. Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Okay. Now we've been talking about a lot of things and I've lost track.
Yeah.
Where are we?
It's okay. Yeah, we have lost our purpose with this one, but are we moving?
Okay. No. Let's talk about passion. So, you know what? Since we have got all these lovely people who are paying attention to us now, you know, so thank you. I see so many. And I must say this, you know, in terms of meeting people with passion and purpose, I think what kept me going in the last 10 years also, and thanks to you, Gran, you know, that we've started this EQ community and our Enneagram community. So big shout out to all of y'all. So many purposeful people and passionate people in this community, you know, and that's what I think keeps a lot of us going because you're in this, you're surrounded by people who are giving, who are nurturing, who are constantly learning, and you know, with really very wonderful, beautiful intentions, no agendas, you know. So I like that, and I think that is something that we if we could have more people out there having that ripple effect, that would just be so amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to also address one more thing that comes up quite frequently, sometimes in class, sometimes not in class. So sometimes people say, so does my work have to be that part of my purpose? Or does my purpose have to be part of my work and vice versa, right? And, you know, I remember one participant in my class one day, she came, she was looking bored. I was hoping it was not my topic, but she liked the topic and she was in it, but also out of it. And then at some point when we started talking about purpose, she said, you know, Gran, my purpose starts at 7 p.m. So I was wondering, oh boy, that's interesting. 7 p.m., mind you. And then she said, if you get on Facebook, you'll know what I mean. And then I saw what she meant, right? And hers is all about cooking and cooking to make a difference. And I could see the energy and the commitment and the tone and the action and the animation. I was like, wow, this is a totally different woman. It's almost like a twin sister was on show. So, and she said, so now you know what my purpose is, right? My purpose is food and feeding people who love my food. And that does not mean a husband per se. It's about people who buys, imagine a husband, right? But the people who buy her food, and that's where her pleasure comes, which brings us into this whole topic about passion, right?
Yeah.
Does your purpose require passion?
Yeah, I mean, I if it's possible to do it at work, I mean, for me, I feel like it needs to be overarching. It needs to be in every aspect of your life, if possible, right? To find that so that you're still the same person. At the end of the day, I did not like myself long ago at some point when in every different phase, I felt like having to be a different person to blend into the needs of everybody else. So now I can say living my purpose, living my passion in anything that I do, right? And so volunteer service, like with my Rotary Club or in my church community, even if it is doing service, right? So, or cooking or baking, whatever it might be, the passion needs to be the same. Otherwise, it's good. I feel it will drain the person because at work, is she the same or does she have to mask it and be, you know, like a different person?
I mean, generally, what I can recall was she said, you know, work is functional for me. Let me just get the cash, get the money and survive. But she says once she hits 7 p.m., you know, can you imagine? Okay, I guess I can imagine some people who love peeling onions and garlic and slicing. I mean, these are the things I wish I had a sous chef at home because I can't stand doing those things, but I don't mind cooking. I hate the washing. But, you know, some people love the whole process right from the peeling the onions. Oh, how can people love peeling onions? I just don't get that, right? But anyway, some people do.
Okay. Anyway, yeah. So shall we share, because you talked about purpose and passion and work and home and all that. Do you have a model that can help people craft that passion or something to that extent? Because,
Righto.
Yeah.
Now I've got two ways. Hope this does not become a workshop. But
okay. Well, we got about 20 minutes left, so shouldn't be a problem. Look at your face. Are you not keeping time? I have the clock right in front of me.
20 minutes for two concepts, but I'm going to spend a little time on one concept and maybe another one that you can add on.
Okay.
One I really appreciate. One I think quite a few people have seen. So I'm going to do a fast job with one of them, and let's see.
There we go. Oh, yes, the Ikigai. Yes. Guess what? I have the book. I realized I started reading it, and true to my nature, I did not complete it.
Okay, so do you know what Ikigai means in the first place?
It's about purpose and passion, right?
Right, good.
Never mind, we'll call Yumi. I'm sure Yumi's online. Yes, she is. She will be able to tell us what it is.
Yumi, actually ask, what a stupid thing to say. Yumi, can you tell us exactly what Ikigai means? I was just about to tell you to ask her. What a dumb thing.
Yes, you can ask her yourself through this. You're so funny. Okay. All right. You know what? It's so tiny and small I can't see, and I'm not putting on my reading glasses. So tell me about it.
You seriously can't see this?
Yeah. Oh, stop it. I'm not going to put on my... Okay, look, they're here, right? But I refuse to.
Okay.
I'm being vain.
No, I was just wondering whether you couldn't see the screen, but it looks like it's your eyes that... Let's not do that. So in short, I'm not going to do a long job with this one, but I like to look at those 4 circles. And I look at this as practical passion, right? Practical passion, because why? You can love what you do, which is great. If you love what you do, imagine if you did not love what you did, and then you decided that you wanted to make that a vocation. I just do not know how that's going to happen, right? Because I think something should wake you up, make you excited. It's almost like you're waiting to go to work versus you're dragging yourself to work. So loving what you do should be part of that equation. Then I think the very interesting one is this, what do you call this color? It looks like salmon, right?
Okay, so Mr. Salmon, hang on for a while. So Yumi says it means a reason for being. Oh, that's beautiful. A reason for being.
Actually, now that
because we're always doing, so we need to learn to be.
So
Thanks, Yumi.
Yeah, thanks for that. So okay, good. Reason for being. Now, is it what the world needs? If the world needs what you love, then that's great. Is it going to be something that you'll be paid for? Now, this is where the practicality comes in, right? Imagine you love what you're doing and the world needs it, and then but then you're not going to be paid for it. Now, it depends. Of course, if you're looking at it as a mission, you're looking at it as a vocation where money is secondary, then why not, right? Then, of course, you have to look at the fact whether you're good at it. You can love it. The world needs it. The world will pay for it. But if you're not good at it, then how are you going to excel at it, right? So it's important to think of at least these 4 areas when considering your passion. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna, and that's how fast it was.
Okay.
About this.
All right. So that's pretty cool, Gran. That's pretty cool. Yeah, because I just released a video on finding your passion on my YouTube channel for Moments with Marion. Yeah, selling a little bit here. Okay, but again, as I said, I never finished reading the book, and for me, it was basically asking kind of similar questions, like what are you interested in, what excites you, and then another question is like what are you good at, what are your strengths, and the other one, of course, is what is something that you stand for, what is something that you hold valuable that you want to stand up for, is there something that you're feeling that you need to put out there? But I didn't really think about the aspect about making money, because I believe maybe it's the way I grew up, that if you really love what you're doing, the money will come in eventually.
That's a good way of thinking.
Yeah.
Provided what you think is what you manifest, right?
Exactly. Again, so that's why you need to keep the balance in check, right? Yeah.
Good. Right. So I love that concept, because why? It just makes me think it's not just 1 or 2 things. You can love what you're doing and the world pays. You must be good at it, right? And there must be love. So looking at those 4 areas, I think it helps you craft something. And I'd like to share something which I learned from this man called John DiMartini. Now, if you guys who are watching are fans of speakers, you have to watch this guy in action. I mean, when I watched his seminar, in fact, I saw him live in Sydney. Todd Montgomery would know who Martini is. So, I mean, not Martini, because he will definitely know what Martini is.
Yeah, now you're making me thirsty.
John DiMartini. You Todd, don't get excited, because when it comes to Martini, I know you'll be like, whoa.
Okay, yes, Todd, I'm waiting for my Martini too. Just because I gave you a hard time on their panel.
Our chief cocktail man. So in short, this is what he says, which, I mean, it blew me away when he talked about a very simple concept, and that is, you talk about hierarchy of values, right? So if you think about your values, and again, values, very simple definition, what's most important to you in your life? So if I just give one example, so in my case, one, definitely continuous learning. The other one is about creativity, making it fun. The other one is about making a difference. And then there's whole hierarchy, right, from say 1 to 10.
Yeah.
And it says this, that if you're living your values hierarchy, if you're living the first, the second, the third, the fourth, you are living your purpose, because your purpose is what makes you excited, right?
Yeah.
So the biggest clue you can have is that your values are being met through your purpose, right? Now, if you go down the hierarchy, and if you find that whatever if your life is not in sync with any of the values, then there's a high likelihood you're probably not living your purpose.
Exactly.
So those values are in sync with your purpose, and if it's not in sync, then I think you would probably have found your solution. So one small thing, maybe just another 30 seconds on this. So I think if you want to craft your purpose, one thing you can think about is look at your top 4 or 5 values, and think about what can excite you from those four to 5 values, which can allow you then to be living what's most important to you in your life.
Yeah.
One big clue about where you can make your starting point, because some people don't know what a starting point is for them.
Exactly. And I do recognize that, when I was even doing my video on finding passion, it really came from somebody I've been recently coaching. And every time I work with him, he just tells me I have no interest in life. I have no strengths. So, you have to find that way of looking at it differently. And some people, it's like, okay, we really have to start from scratch, building their confidence, getting to know themselves better. And it's not something that you can just find overnight. And so start something simple, and I think about, like, when I think of people who I believe are highly passionate and living very purposeful lives, I've noticed that they work hard, they play hard, they give generously, and it's interesting that when I first joined Rotary, we have what we call the 3 T's, the letter T for Thailand, right? Your time, your talent, and your treasure. So you share your time with people, your talent with others, as well as if you have treasures, and that could be in forms of money or any other kind of thing. And that was so interesting for me, time, talent, and treasure. So, not all of us can just give money, so we give in other ways. So it doesn't always have to be about giving or contributing, but firstly, you got to start with yourself, understanding what is it that really just excites you.
Right.
And I think I talked about that earlier, about this thing that goes so deep down, right? And it's, how would you say that? Like, it's the fire in your belly, right? And that's when it becomes a lot deeper, when you clarify it, when you practice it, you try it out with different people, and you keep reforming that statement or that overarching theme that you have, right? So you don't have to figure it out within one sitting or one class or something like that, right?
Yeah, that's true. But it can come in many, many forms, I think. Sometimes, some people start from a simple statement, right?
Yeah.
So from our audience or whoever's watching or viewing or watching, whatever, if supposing you need a set of questions, I always do believe when I'm coaching someone, it's always good to have a set of questions which allows them to think through in a very organized fashion, in a very systematic way. So some of the questions that come in is, what do you believe you could do before that you can't do now, right? And what would you do if money or time did not matter to you at all? Now, Of course, questions like this, you might be thinking, what do I mean by if money did not matter? That means I have to have a lot of money before I can engage in this passion or purpose. You just have to imagine, if money was not a factor, you can just engage in something that you love. And whenever you love something, there's many ways for you to eventually find for that source of money.
The source, exactly. And I think a lot of people, you're right. Because I think a lot of people put that burden on themselves, that's why when I talked about time, talent, and treasure, a lot of people fear that, I can't do this kind of work, or I can't volunteer because I don't have the treasure to give. But, whatever it is, yes, as I said, something that I think came very strongly with me from my upbringing was that if you do something you love, eventually the money will come in. So don't let that be a burden or limit yourself, out of fear that I won't be able to survive, I won't be able to provide for my family, etc. Yeah. Yeah.
And the biggest advantage I think people have nowadays is, look at this. I mean, we are here talking in Singapore, you in one corner, I'm in another corner, and the whole world can watch. And
Yeah.
so, and this is just one platform, right? There's YouTube, there's Facebook, there's LinkedIn, there's Instagram, and so forth. So I'd like to not quote something. I'd like to mention something which I saw quite recently. This person who loves sake, right? Well, in her mind, probably it was all about, I love my sake. But what she started to do was just share different sakes that she had, and the different kinds of tastes and so forth. And many people started writing to her, hey, you should share more and tell us more what else you have. She has turned that into a business, sake appreciation, right? Then there's also wine
Nice.
appreciation, right? For
Nice.
Todd, if you're listening there, you got cocktail appreciation, whatever, right? And people are always
Exactly.
interested in this, especially if it's live and you show them how to
Yeah.
make things, right? So
Yeah.
there's so many things you can do if you just start from what you love
Exactly.
and then say it in public, right? In the public
Yeah.
space, maybe.
Yeah. And I think in many ways, it's even like how we started out as trainers. I mean, the ability, or at least knowing that, well, we're pretty okay standing up in front of an audience and being able to share our stories, share what we've learned. Like, I wouldn't say I know everything or I'm like the smartest person, but I'm willing to learn, right? And if it's something that I'm interested in, something that I'm passionate about, right, then I definitely want to find out more and I want to share it with other people. And I remember, Grant, when I first met you, one of the things that you said to me was, like, I remember when we first started doing EQ work, right? And I kept saying, I'm in such a crappy space. There's no way I can train this. And you said to me that the best way to heal yourself is by helping others. And that's something that I grew up with and I'd forgotten it. So I'm always grateful to you for that. You lit that flame again in so many ways. You helped me find my mojo, right? And that's where it's so important that in the work that I do the same thing. I'm able to then spread that to other people. So it's like a, what do you call that? The relay when you have the baton and you just keep passing it on. Now that I've got even the Olympic flame, I have it, I pass it on to somebody else. So to be able to keep that fire burning, and if it's big enough, we can spread it to others. And I think the work that we do, especially this EQ work, the Enneagram work, the inner transformation, that has really given me a lot more drive, a lot more passion, and now that we're expanding out of just Singapore, it's a wonderful opportunity. And that's why I said I had to mention the EQ community and the Enneagram community, because it makes us, we can see the results.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right in saying that. I think my biggest excitement comes when I've had that transformation in people. Then your stuff works. And when your stuff works, then you've gotten to the right thing, right? But if your stuff doesn't work, then okay, I might as well go to the sea and start fishing or
again, we're very results oriented, right? Yeah.
So in your life, let's see, who do you want? Oh, you want to ask me a question? Sorry.
No. We've got about 5 or 6 minutes more to go.
Oh, damn, I think we should make it 1.5 hours.
I think I shared that about our community and my Rotarian friends, where I see people living their life with great passion. They work hard, they play hard, they give generously, right? So I believe I shared. What about you? Who do you see? Since you're going to ask me that question, I turn it about. Who do you see? Typical trainer, right?
Bola queen. This one is what you call the, what's that? Tai Chi queen.
Tai Chi mistress. Okay.
To understand Malay, Bola queen. Okay.
Who do you find passionate and purposeful?
So some people who might be viewing here might not like this, because I'm a Liverpool fan, and as a Liverpool fan, when I think of passion, I think of the Liverpool manager. And I do think the competing teams would probably agree that
you just had to sneak football in, right? You just had to.
I had to because it's too recent that they won. But
okay.
But when I watch soccer, I'm frequently watching this manager. Of course, I'm watching the game. I'm always watching the manager. I'm looking at his face. I'm looking at his teeth. Of course, his teeth are big, so it's easy to see his teeth. But okay, let's not define his face. But in short, it's his energy and his and the things he says that just gets people to lick from his fingers and his thumbs. So he's passionate and he loves his people, right? You can see it from how he speaks, that he draws the team and he draws the crowd. He marshals the crowd. And so to me, you have to have passion to have purpose, right? I just don't see a way out. It just has to happen that way. So as a starting point, I think for a lot of people out there, and especially if you are at maybe number 2 out of 10 in terms of your purpose, what do you think might be a starting point for them, Marion, just based on your experience and maybe just 1 or 2 tips? What do you think they can do for now? Just to start things.
Well, I think really, yeah, it's just the starting point of taking some time to reflect. I think we shared a lot of different questions. We talked about the Ikigai model and all that, but I think the starting point is really taking some time to reflect, slowing down, just have some time to yourself and writing things down, like just write down some of these answers to the questions, and I think that would be a great starting point. Like, what do you really want from this life? What really excites you? If you have to, again, using your word, right, what would you like your legacy to be? And that could actually be a starting point, and it could just start simply. Like, I remember one of the trainees that I had who said to me, I just want to be a good grandmother, is that okay? And I said, sure. And she can be a good grandmother even at work, even outside of the community, because she's such a caregiver. Oh, and we've got a few people sharing what their passion is. Very good.
Oh, like who? Who's that?
Menkin.
Oh, Menkiang. Oh,
yeah, Menkiang. Sorry. My eyes. Yeah. My purpose statement: to support other people to develop their better life so that they can live happily. Beautiful.
I really like the man. If you're watching, I enjoyed his passion. I mean, this was someone from Cambodia, leader.
Cambodia, yes. Hello to you and Non Pen, yes.
Yes, Non Pen. Just love his passion.
Yes, yeah.
Todd was saying, and hello from down under. Then he's asking, do you want some answers from the comments and questions you're asking? So it looks like we went.
Okay, yeah. All right. No, but hang on, Grant. So going back to the advice that you asked me to say, I think for anybody who's listening in or anybody who comes in for our classes or watches any of our videos, don't compare yourself to different people. I think a lot of the time people think that, as I said, that big burden that I have to change the world, that I have to start some kind of foundation. No. You don't need to. You're not in comparison with anyone. At the end of the day, it's really about discovering who you are and the gifts that you bring to the world and what is the best way that you can spread these gifts. Because you just need to be the best version of yourself. I think that's all anybody's ever asking for. I don't have to compete with you. You don't have to compete with me. But together, we make the world a better place. And that, to me, is really powerful. Yeah.
Excellent. So from me, let's see, if I were to start from scratch, and I'm looking at my life at the age of, the year. Yeah, you won't mention the year, but...
Yes, age again. Okay.
Yeah, the year which I believe things just popped, and I found it in a bookshop, right? And it can happen in many different places. For me, I found it in a bookshop because I was searching. Now, so the thing is, are you searching? If you're not searching, nothing appears, right? But if you're searching, things appear, whether you're talking to people, whether you're reading books, whether you're opening the newspapers, whether you're on the internet, things will pop up. But if you do nothing and you hope that something drops on your head, maybe in your dreams, if you have a great dream, and maybe God is listening to you, or somebody's listening to you, but if you don't do anything, nothing pops up. So whatever you're searching for, it's for you, right? So you have to open your eyes and ask and connect and meet people and ask these questions, right? As a starting point.
Exactly. And I think that is actually so important to be able to ask people, get suggestions, get feedback from people, because sometimes the person may not be so self-aware or they're lacking in confidence about what they can do or what they're good at or what they can spread, right? So just dig a little bit deeper and it will definitely be there. I think sometimes we get people give excuses like, I'll wait till I retire when I have more time or when my children are bigger or, when I have enough money. And why are we waiting? At the end of the day, it's like, if you don't want to be walking around like the Walking Dead, or living with no purpose, feeling so low in energy, I had to wait till some crisis hit me and then I changed. So I want to share it with people that don't wait, put it in the front of your mind. Don't put it at the back. If you have a dream and that's going to fuel your passion, which eventually becomes a purpose for you, tap into it. Put it in the front of your mind. Think about it, talk about it, feel it, visualize it, and take action. Baby steps or massive action. Just do something.
And by the same token, I think we have to ask and tell our audience as well, what if you are living life without purpose? What would that look like? So can you imagine waking up and just doing what you've been normally doing. So for example, if your routine has been going to work and then you just go to work and you look at your watch and you say, okay, it's lunchtime now, it's tea break now, it's time to go back. And if every single day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, looks alike, seems alike, feels alike, then when you reach 31st of December, and then when you finally hit 1st of December and you look back and you say, every single day was no different from today, can you imagine you got many more years left? And if those years that are left are going to be the same as those years that have passed, it feels tiring even saying that.
Yeah, it does. It drains the energy. And, I think like when we do coaching again, right, people who have regrets, especially now with whatever's going on in the world, COVID-19, pandemic, life is so precious. Life can be so short. It's so unpredictable. You want to be not just the best version of yourself, but you don't want to have regrets. That's you don't want to, say, oh, I should have done this or I could have done that. Right. Why not just start? Just start.
And this starting point could be very interesting during a crisis like this. This might be the best starting point because there are actually a lot of opportunities out there.
Opportunities, exactly. Yes, you just need to open your eyes. Yeah.
Just call us, right? Email us and let's see how we can help you out in terms of leading you to a place where you need to go.
Yeah.
So, I think it is 8:57.
Time.
Right. Now we start on a new question. We won't finish till 9:30, I think.
But we can answer in the chat group. In the Facebook page, and we can just acknowledge everyone. But thank you, everyone, for all your sharing, your questions. For tuning in throughout the time. That's right. And it was really good to hear from quite a lot of you.
Prima Sanjoko, thanks. This man, we've probably met him like 15 years ago now. EQ certification. Hi to Indonesia. Right. Okay. So it is 8:50, almost 9. So we come to the end of this session. Now we've not thought of the topic for next
week. So if you give us some suggestions.
Yeah. Because of course topics can come up. There's tons to talk about. But if we could get some suggestions from you, if you like the session, let us know. If you hated the session, also let us know.
Feedback is so important.
Also let us know. But also let us know what you'd like to find out, because what we're going to do with this program, by the way, since we've got like 2 minutes left, we're going to interview CEOs, we're going to interview writers, we're going to interview experts, relationship experts. We've got people coming on whose life went down the doldrums, went down the dumps, and how they picked up themselves, and now they are flying high. These are the stories we love to hear, and all of them had a strategy, right? And we'd like you to learn that strategy, because these are inner strategies. So lots of people coming to the show besides the two of us. You won't just hear our voices, although we like to hear our own voices as well. Right? So let us know what topics you want, because even forgiveness will be coming along as well.
Yeah. So other than finding the videos on Facebook, we have a recording. We will probably, not probably, but we'll load it up on our YouTube channel for EQ World, right? And then of course we'll share it so that people who are not on Facebook can also have an opportunity to watch the video, and then we can have some comments, etc. But we would definitely appreciate some suggestions. Or if you want to be featured, you want to share with us something that you've done, like in our community, some of them have had great initiatives, spreading the word of gratitude, spreading just positive notes, in Hong Kong, my international sister, right? And so many people, Debbie.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So she's doing a wonderful initiative. So we'd love to be able to interview any of y'all, and of course, a few members from our community to share some of the initiatives that they've started. Yeah.
That's right. So all this coming along, hopefully every Thursday. When we say hopefully, it depends whether we are, I say around the country, but we'll try to make it every Thursday. Sometimes it'll be Marion and the guests, and sometimes it'll be me and the guests, and sometimes it'll be 3 of us.
Yes. Or maybe more.
You never know. It could be one gang. Which could be fun, right? It could be like
could be fun. Okay, we'll all be talking and nobody will be listening.
But you've given an accidental idea, which is having a forum of 5 or 6 people getting into a debate. That would be amazing.
That's it. Okay. Yeah.
Right, though. We better shoot.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Good session. Thanks, Gran. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Marion. And see you next week. Right. Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.